all the documents. And by some standards, this is moving with a great deal of alacrity. This is not a snail's pace as far as a paper-based fraud case goes. This is we moved right along on this one. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why it went on so long. Because you had an uninvolved electorate in a city where a very clever person performed criminal acts in a secretive way in violation of all the protective mechanisms we have. All of our transparency laws, the Brown Act, those were all contributing factors. The electorates of these cities have to be involved if they truly care about their city. That was not the case in this instance. Also, we've had a great diminution in the presence of the free media. You're all here today for this press conference. It's very important that the print media and other forms of the media get out there and routinely cover what's going on in this county. We'll do our job. We'll pick the pieces up when we know where the pieces are, when the allegations are made. But it takes an involved electorate, and you have to fight against people like Rizzo who engage in incredible secrecy to accomplish their ends.
Mr. Cooley, Mr. Cole has bragged openly that he has a lot of political ties.
Who?
Mr. Cole has bragged to various friends that he has a lot of political connections.
Well, Mr. Cole's being booked right now, so.
And he said he welcomes this investigation. Was there any difficulty in going after George Cole?
Not that I know of. Any difficulty going after George Cole? No.
The political ties that he said he had was Cole following?
I didn't hear him say that. But you know what? Here's the deal. I challenge the defense attorneys and defendants in this case to go to a speedy preliminary hearing. Let's get all the evidence out there regarding the conduct of each of these individuals. They're going to make statements about this and about that. Let's go to court. Let's put the evidence on. Let them defend themselves. If they claim they were innocent, just a mistake, as I'm sure they will claim, let them go to court. Let's go to court. Let's go to court today. Let's go to court within the time limit. They're the ones who have the right to a speedy preliminary hearing. Hopefully they'll exercise their right and we'll be in court within a week, and you can all see it unveiled before you.
Mr. Cooley, why wasn't the police chief charged, and are you friends with the police chief?
I am acquainted with the former police chief. He was the longtime chief of Glendale. He was not charged because apparently there was no evidence to charge him. I would charge my mother if I had evidence against my mother. But she has been pretty good recently.
He was among the top 3 people making
Being paid excessive salaries is not a crime. That's not a crime. Illegally obtain those salaries is a crime, and that's what happened in the case of Rizzo and the city council people. We have our theories of culpability. Chief Adams didn't fit with any theory of culpability.
Did you cooperate with your investigation?
Mr. Adams is not part of. Sure. Mr. Adams is not part of this investigation, this phase. But as Mr. Cooley said, this is an investigation where we've finished the first leg of what will likely be a marathon to try to restore the integrity of government in Bell. So with regard to Mr. Adams, as Mr. Cooley has said, it's not illegal in the state of California, especially in a charter city, for people to get paid ridiculous sums of money. But if you contract or set it up so you receive that in secret or without following the appropriate process, that's the crime.
It sounds like there's a distinction between your handling of the police chief and your handling of the former city attorney.
The only difference in handling is a difference in the facts. We put the facts to the law and we see what we come up with. We work very hard to maintain scrupulous objectivity. Some of the information that you're bringing out in these questions I can testify to is completely unknown to the lawyers in PID that have conducted these reviews of these facts. I understand the question, but part of that is what we'd like you to get across, which is the people of this county need to know that they're responsible for holding their elected officials' feet to the fire. And they're responsible for going to the meeting so that when these sweetheart deals get passed, they know about it. It's just part of democracy. So getting paid $1 zillion a year is not illegal in the state of California unless you do it by illicit and illegal means.
With that in mind, can you talk about the election in question, the 2005 election, which basically opened the barn door?
question.
All I can tell you about the 2005 election is that we know that the city became a charter city, and that changed some of the ground rules. But above and beyond that, I'm only here today to talk about the charges that we filed, with the assurance that we have only started and we will continue to scrupulously, objectively, and carefully look at everything out there and everybody out there, regardless of who they are.
You're slowing down your ability to do an investigation in Montebello or in La Puente.
Pardon me?
Is what you've done here in Bell with the grand jury and all that, has it slowed down your ability to investigate allegations of voter fraud in Montebello, or the charges that a sheriff's deputy took $500,000 from taxpayers in La Puente?
You know, we prosecute 60,000 felonies a year all over the county of Los Angeles, 120,000 misdemeanors, and we do pursue them based on their relative merit and with a great deal of vigor, which explains our 100% conviction rate over a 10-year period. Our past speaks for itself. We'll handle any case out there that involves sustainable evidence of public corruption to the extent the evidence supports it, wherever that is. And we've already proven that. The city of LA to the city of Vernon.
Given the corruption, are you in favor of receivership for the city?
Receivership for the city? That is going to depend upon the status of those city council people now they're charged. Once convicted, they lose their positions. However, until convicted, they can retain those positions. If they were to all resign, then you have another kettle of fish, as my grandmother used to say. All right, thank you all very much.
Quick question about Rizzo. Rizzo's attorney, Jim Curtis, asks why you did not accept his overture to arrange a surrender. And also, if you'd amplify why you
why the question is, why do we not accept Spertus's overtures to accept Mr. Rizzo's surrender? How about because we want Mr. Rizzo to have an appropriate bail, make the appropriate bail based upon the nature of his offense? We'll see how that goes when he goes to court. And Mr. Rizzo, just because he wants to lollygag down here and come to court, is not necessarily going to have his bail lowered.
Did you speed this investigation because you're running for Attorney General?
No.
How strong do you think your evidence is against the eight defendants?
How do we?
How strong do you
Okay, I'll tell you exactly how strong we think it is. We don't file charges unless we believe the evidence will prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt after consideration of all plausible defenses. That's the standard we use when we file a misdemeanor. That's the standard we're using in this case. That's how strong our evidence is.
Was Mr. Rizzo ever questioned? I know you tried to get him down here for a deposition. Did he ever cooperate?
We don't do depositions. We use grand juries, and we use grand jury subpoenas. The Attorney General's office in their civil case used depositions. We use grand juries. That's how we do things here in the criminal courts building. Thank you all very much.
Was there a conspiracy involved?
Just say do it on the mic, please.
County District Attorney Steve Cooley on the arrests of City Manager Robert Rizzo in the city of Bell, plus present and former city council members. A stinging indictment alleging a misappropriation of $5.5 million. Cooley calling Rizzo an unaccountable czar who took, quote, beyond exorbitant benefits packages, calling this a case of corruption on steroids. Lisa, they're being booked now, the 8 people involved you're looking at on the right side of your screen, to the Los Angeles County Jail. $3.2 million bail for Rizzo. The other figures a little bit less. And the DA calling this the first wave in an investigation that started back in March.
Yeah, they actually said at the top of the list, former city manager Robert Rizzo taking $4.3 million in misappropriating public funds. And one thing really to remember about this, they said being paid a high salary, not a crime. What is a crime is that you obtain that salary in a criminal manner, and that is what this was about. This morning's arrests across a wide area of Southern California included former Mayor Oscar Hernandez, and apparently authorities used a battering ram to get to his house. The City of Bell's interim chief administrative officer has released this statement in just the past few minutes. We want to read it for you as well. Given the sheer volume of charges levied against former CAO, that's Chief Administrative Officer Robert Rizzo, and former Assistant CAO Angela Spaccia, it is clear they were at the root of the cancer that has afflicted the City of Bell. And continuing the quote here, it is a sad day for Bell that our current and 2 former members of the council have also been arrested. That from Pedro Correa, who is Bell's interim city manager. We show you the pictures again of the 8 people arrested. The district attorney also partially blaming an uninvolved electorate in the city and the media for not pointing out the alleged transgressions, although he, Cooley, is LA's top law enforcement figure in the county.
This, Lisa, the biggest corruption scandal in Los Angeles County in some 3 decades or more, and you're looking at the prime figures right in the middle of it all.
Absolutely, and he said this is an embarrassment to the entire county, and we do remember California Attorney General Jerry Brown filed a lawsuit against current and former Bell City leaders demanding that they pay their contracts back and even some of their pension benefits. So we have a lot going on right now with this case, and again, him calling this corruption on steroids.